Welcome class, sit down and shut your mouth. If you go on your phone, if you go on Reddit, if you tab out of this video and visit some adult content, I'm gonna be mad, so don't do it. Today's lesson: why is it literally impossible to learn a language in school? Why is it easier to beat LeBron on a one-on-one and then go to the Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady than it is to become fluent through high school Spanish? So, let's get into it. You have struggled in middle school, college, or in especially high school with languages. Well, the thing is, you are not alone. In fact, struggling with the language in high school is like a rite of passage. It's simply something everyone has to go through before they officially become a man or a woman. I mean, even for me, due to the fact that I can speak 6 languages and that I'm working towards my 7th, which I still haven't started because I'm being a little bit lazy, but Spanish is coming soon. People see me and they're like, oh, this dude, you know, he's got a language brain, he's got a special talent for languages, whatever. No, I don't. Seriously, I struggled to get even C's in high school Spanish class, and as soon as I could drop out, I did. The conversation I had with my guidance counselor basically looked like this. Alright, so this year you can select from these electives. You can choose whichever class you want to take. Okay, wait, I don't need to take Spanish? No, I mean you're not required to, but I do suggest that. So recently I went to a language learner summit in Berlin and it was amazing. There was some amazing polyglots there, some of which could speak over 10 languages. It was intense, and I asked them, and apparently even they had struggles with learning languages in school. Either they struggled to get good grades, or they didn't learn anything in class, or both. So let's take a look at how myself and other polyglots learn languages. For me personally, what comes first always is the basics and getting the pronunciation down. I don't want to speak Japanese like konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa. No, this is not my goal. Second, get a lot of input. So this is basically listening to as much audio from native speakers as possible. This comes in the forms of TV, YouTube movies, or audio programs like Pimsleur or Asumo. Basically, this is a period where I use Pimsleur and watch a lot of Netflix in my target language and eat a lot of Nutella. The third thing I do is I build my vocab and I start constructing sentences. The fourth thing I do is speak to online tutors. The fifth thing I do is if there's grammar that I really didn't intuitively understand, I will go hard, I will focus on it and try to get it out of the way, try to make myself be able to understand this. And the last thing is trying to surround myself with as much native speakers as possible, which usually doesn't happen. But on top of that, also continuing with my online tutors and watching TV without subtitles. So you might ask, with a method like this, what is my goal? Follow me. For every language that I learn, my goal is to become conversationally fluent in terms of my listening and speaking skills, and to have a few areas in life that I can talk extensively about. Reading and writing are nice, but they're not my main focus, and if they were my main focus, my method would shift and look a little bit different. That said, what I found out from the conference is that most of the successful language learners that I met also have a very similar method. What's more is that they all had their own personal motivation for learning a language that wasn't just, oh, I want to pass the test, or ooh, I want to get good grades, or I want to become immortal, or but learning a language to fluency from scratch gave them a great deal of personal satisfaction. Anyways, so what is the reason that I feel everyone and their ancestors has had a difficult time trying to learn a language in school? Well, the thing is, it isn't just my feeling, it is actual truth. Studies show that less than 1% of American adults today are proficient in a foreign language that they studied in the US classroom. That's noteworthy considering that in 2008, almost all high schools in the country, 93%, offered foreign languages according to a national survey. So that clearly begs the question, what is wrong with America? Well, quite simply, America. It is because America is number one. We are the best. In fact, we are number one at being number 27 in the world, for education. If I'm actually gonna be honest, this is not just an American problem, okay? This is a worldwide epidemic. I mean, language education around the world is just, what's another word for crap? I mean, for example, take a look at this beautiful chart. This is from a study of 1,001 British students from the ages of 14 to 24 about the results of studying languages in schools. As you can see, after years of language learning in school, the vast majority felt no sense of progression and felt like what they've learned is limited to the basics. Some couldn't understand anything at all. That's pretty bad. It's like if I taught you how to do YouTube videos for 4 years and at the end of the 4 years you didn't even know how to turn the camera on. Pretty bad. So why is it like that? Why is it like this? Here's what I think. Schools, in particular high schools, are so fundamentally backwards that they're essentially setting you up not to be fluent in whatever language you're studying. They're setting you up not to be able to speak, not to be able to listen, but to be a grammar master. For example, for me, in my middle and high school, under the New York State curriculum, this is how we were taught Spanish. We walk into Spanish class the first day, we're excited, and all of a sudden, grammar! Okay? Verb conjugations. Oh, by the way, test. Memorize these 20 nouns for homework, and also these verbs too. And by the way, also, next Tuesday we're having a test. Ugh. I mean, let's go back to these 1,001 British students, shall we? When they were asked what are the 3 downsides of language learning, the 2 most common complaints were this. Learning grammar and learning vocabulary is too damn hard. And to be honest, of course it is. Of course it is. It is not fun at all, nor is it the best way to start learning a language. And if there's anything I know in my 22 years of life, young people are very skilled at avoiding doing what they don't like to do. If you don't believe me, then ask my mom how many times when I was growing up it would take asking before I actually clean my room, okay? I rest my case. But you know what would have been fun instead? Listening practice, watching a movie and writing down vocab from it. Maybe, I don't know, speaking skills, speaking practice. You see, the only speaking practice we ever had came in the form of a one-on-one, final destination, battle conversation with the teacher, and she would grade you based on how well she thought you spoke. See, a test like this is very good at one thing, making you stress out and cram study and try to ace this test, this oral exam, so you don't embarrass yourself. Cram studying and studying in general for things you really don't want to do is never effective because you end up forgetting everything you learned the second you're done with the test because you're so relieved. You're just like, woof, thank God that's over. Ah, wow, now I don't need to speak again for another year, okay? Then eventually, after enough years, the teacher starts speaking only in the language that she's teaching. And this is never good because, well, we've received virtually no listening and speaking practice. Meaning, a lot of students aren't going to understand the hell she's talking about, and they're gonna fall even further behind. And what happens if they fall even further behind? Well, then they get frustrated. And when people can't keep up and they feel like it's not working for them, or that they suck at it, or that learning is a chore, they become very anti-learning. And in this case, as a result of all the frustration that has been accumulated over the course of years and years of being forced to study something that you're not passionate about, well, then they give up. And even if they're still required to take the class, they do the minimum amount of work possible to get a passing grade, and mentally, they check out. And the only thing that they practice in that class from that point on is their phone hiding skills. But yeah, I mean, in my school, the thing... Look at me when I'm talking to you. You better still be watching this video. I swear on Odin and Freya, okay? If you're not watching this video... Oof, I'm getting angry. I need to calm down. Just hit the subscribe button. Help me calm down. Anyway, so in my school, we had the option of picking from Italian, French, Chinese, or Spanish. If you wanted to study a language that was outside of there, well, tough luck, kid. You want to study Swedish? I want to study Spanish. No, our school doesn't have the resources for that. Sorry. I mean, it was a real shame, because what happens if you were interested in Greek or Korean or Japanese culture and you wanted to learn one of those languages? Well, you couldn't. Even if you were very passionate about a language, it's still a challenging endeavor to learn a language to fluency, even if you're really passionate about it. So on the other hand, if you're not passionate about language, it's impossible. Как это возможно, блин? Because it's passion. is access to the best language learning programs possible. It is discipline, it is consistency, it is genuine interest in a language, and it's having fun while learning that will determine whether you're successful at learning another language. Unfortunately, most schools don't encourage or support any of those things. That's why it's nearly impossible to reach fluency through the traditional school system, because school is backwards. It shouldn't be school, it should be lochs. Because it's often no passion, learning through outdated textbooks and methods. You're likely not interested in the culture. You're likely not having fun. You only have a few 30 to 40-minute lessons a week, and on top of all that, your friends are there to distract you and to put pencils in your afro. And quite frankly, your teacher could suck. And I don't blame them. They've got 25 teenagers of all different levels in their class, and they're doing the best that they can. They're doing the best that they can, and it's a one-size-fits-all system. So what should you do? Follow me. We'll solve this together. So I am not a hear all the problems, don't they suck kind of guy. I am here are the problems, and here's how to fix them, or here's what you should do kind of guy. So let's talk about it. So what should you do if you are in high school and you are forced to learn a language that you're not passionate about, or maybe you're in college or middle school or whatever? So you have two options. Either you do the minimum amount of work to get through the course, you practice a little bit of your phone hiding skills, and you just get through it, and whenever you finish, you actually switch your focus to a language that you're passionate about. Or you can try hard, and even if you don't get a lot out of studying it in school, you don't really get too far, at least you have it there waiting for you if you ever want to revisit it in the future, which is very important. Not to mention, learning one language can also help you in the future if you want to learn another language that's related. On the other hand, what happens if you are studying a language in college or in high school and you are very passionate about it? Then what you want to do is you want to supplement your classes with watching TV, watching movies, watching YouTubers, and you also want to use programs like Asumo or Anki. This way you will fall more in love with the language, and reaching fluency is going to be much easier. You're going to excel past the other students, and you're going to get those tasty A+. Anyways, as you guys already know, this video is very long already, so we're not going to go into my language learning methods in this video. If you want to figure them out, or if you want to find out more information about them, watch the video I did called How to Learn Any Language in 6 Months. It's really going to help your ass out. Alternatively, you could get my ebook Fluency Made Easy. I know you've seen the ad. You must have seen the ad already, but if you don't know what it is, it's a step-by-step guide showing you how to learn any language as easily, quickly, and as well, having as much fun as possible. It's been getting really great reviews, so I do highly recommend you to check it out as well. Link in the description too, with my video that I mentioned. But that's it. I wanted to make this video for people who have tried to learn a language before in school, or maybe you've tried right now and it's just not going well and you think that you're not a language person. You are, especially if you're able to understand this video, because you've already learned one language, English. But you have it in you, and I want to make that clear. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was educative. And Ikenna.